Dumb ginger. You leave your title because you don't like your 94-year-old grandma? That's the definition of something you wait out.
Meghan Markle is on the American program Suits.
Yes, Wednesdays, 8 p.m, USA Network. Check it out.
The only difference between that show and this is people watch this one.
I don't know how to break this to you, H. If you weren't in the royal family, M wouldn't be with you.
I'm so busy and happy. I'm glad we didn't make it, Harry. I don't want to be a duchess and live in a huge house for free.
She comes from an unconventional family. Yes, very different family. I was like, yeah, man, she does. Just like Harry.
Whenever the kids are being fussy and not going to bed, she puts on an episode of Suits and they're out. So,
what are you doing? Ow! Look at that.
One time, I just woke up, I'm in my underwear, I plop down in front of the TV, I turn it on. The moment I turn it on, Prince Harry's talking shit about me.
Can you imagine being his boss when he screws up? Like, what do you call him in and say, Prince Harry, get in here, your majesty. You blew the Henderson account, my lord.
He's like, Joe Rogan's giving out dangerous misinformation. And my first thought was, did I? I might have.
So late at night, Trevor Noah stared into the camera and joked, if the Duchess who says she's independent even did her W-2 and the crowd lost it laughing so hard, like the royal image just shook right there and then.
The big question everyone's asking right now is, why?
Just those few seconds on TV changed the whole game, like nothing from the palace, no Netflix tell-all, no fancy Instagram post ever hit that hard because that one joke didn't make people angry. It made them laugh, and not the fake kind or some soft clap from fans. It was real loud laugh, like the kind that shakes the whole room and suddenly the Sussex story didn't look so serious anymore.
I think they'll move to LA because Meghan is an actor, right?
If you rewind that moment and look at how fast it blew up, it was everywhere in group chats and DMs all over the internet in just a few hours. People chopped up Trevor's words into TikToks, turned it into memes, made Twitter threads breaking down every word. And while some folks tried to defend the Duchess, others were just enjoying the roast. But the scariest part wasn't people getting mad, it was people agreeing. They were laughing and nodding like, yeah, he kinda has a point.
And then Harry can just join the cast of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Yeah. Just be like fighting on TV. I know what you said about me, Diddy. Say it to my face.
Everyone kept passing it around, and when folks start laughing at a celeb, like really laughing, the whole game flips and the timing could not have been worse. Meghan and Harry had just dropped their shiny new story with a fancy docuseries that ran for 6 long hours a podcast, all about women and a sad book that felt even more emotional than one of those old love stories that always make people cry.
They're taking a sabbatical? From what? Helping their grandma pick out hats? Get the f out of here, man.
They were clearly trying to show a new side of themselves, like, hey, understand us, feel for us, but instead of winning hearts, they basically gave comedians the perfect material to roast, because the funny part wasn't about sadness, it was about how things didn't add up. Like, you can't say you want privacy, then go sign big Netflix deals and talk about your life non-stop. That's the kind of stuff comedy lives for.
How are you gonna take a break from being royalty? What are you doing?
You can't tear down the royal system while still using its sparkle for your brand, and you can't cry about cameras chasing you, then go build a fancy vineyard shaped like your own letters where drones can easily spot it. Trevor just pushed the first domino, and once that first joke landed, what followed was a wave of jokes that started off light and even kinda sweet. But they opened the door wide for everyone else to jump in.
It's like the weirdest thing. Oh, just have to take a break. Too many people surfing, guys. That's too much.
It started as jokes, but soon turned into a pattern. Like every time they shared something serious, people fired back with jokes, like when Meghan talked about curtsying, TikTok answered with Princess Diaries, and Gen Z just didn't care.
This is huge. Harry and Meghan are leaving the palace to become financially independent.
It felt like a repeat. Harry warned about press outside their mansion, and a BBC host laughed, saying, maybe don't spell your name in grapes by the gate. The jokes weren't mean. They were sharp and hit hard without even trying.
And you see, this is what happens when you bring the first black woman into the royal family.
Within days, it spread like wildfire. Everyone was in on it, from podcast folks to morning radio to comedians in little theaters. Sussex jokes were everywhere, and no matter who said it, the crowd was always ready to laugh.
Yeah. She looked at Harry and she was like, you need to get a job. You need a job.
This was the first time since joining the royal world that Meghan couldn't steer the story her way anymore. The spotlight wasn't hers to control now, but that was only the start.
You a grown-ass man. You can't still be living in your mama's house, Harry.
While Meghan and Harry were busy showing off dreamy scenes and sad, slow music in their big glossy series over in the UK, Simon Brodkin was getting set to blow the whole thing up on stage, raw, loud, and totally unfiltered, ready to say all the things no one else would.
If you haven't seen the documentary, lucky you.
The moment Simon Brodkin hit the stage, you knew it was about to go down. He came in with that sneaky grin and jokes sharper than a knife, and in just seconds he tore that whole Netflix series apart like it was nothing.
I watched the Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary. Now, I'll be honest with you, before I watched it, I was not a fan of theirs. Now I've actually heard their side of the story, I f***ing hate them.
The second Simon started talking, he called the whole thing a 6-hour brag fest with more flying camera shots than real honesty, and the crowd just lost it. This wasn't playful teasing, it was clean and brutal. He didn't need anything fancy, no pictures, no effects, just the way he spoke did all the damage, and every word felt like a release, like people were finally saying what they really thought.
Ginger Royal meets fit American actress. She then discovers that everything is so unfair.
Simon had the crowd cheering, not just laughing. He said what everyone was already thinking, that the Sussex story felt more fake than real. He joked about Meghan being like a soap star and called Harry a prince even after quitting, and instead of stopping, he went in even harder.
He then discovers that racism is actually a bad thing.
Simon threw out one brutal line, just 12 words that smashed the whole Netflix story into dust. It was so sharp and so perfect that it went viral like crazy, and people who never even watched the doc were using that line, like it explained everything overnight. Fans were dropping it in comments like it was a Bible quote, and just like that, Simon's joke replaced the entire series for most people.
They were complaining that to pay for their own security. They were not happy about that. Yeah, they were very worried about their safety, which I get that aspect of things. After 6 episodes, I wanted to attack him.
Right when everyone thought Simon was done, he dropped the real bomb. He pointed out how Harry and Meghan weren't just telling their truth, they were asking regular people to cover their security costs, the same people they called toxic before, and he didn't even joke about it. He just said it clear and strong, and the silence after every word felt heavy. That's when it stopped being just jokes and turned into something way deeper.
Harry says, how do you explain to someone who just started dating that they have to curtsy to your own grandmother?
How do you explain that you bow to your grandmother and that you will need to curtsy? Especially to an American, like, that's weird.
And I'm thinking, maybe just tell her that your grandmother is the f***ing queen.
Once that clip hit the internet, it blew up fast. People turned it into memes, edits, side-by-sides, and suddenly Harry and Meghan weren't telling their story anymore. They were part of a joke, and once that happens, every word you say sounds like comedy. And Simon's punchline started something others quickly joined, and it turned into a full-on roast.
So announced a new trade deal with the UK that will reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
Overnight, it wasn't just London laughing anymore. America jumped in fast and hard. Comedians across the country grabbed their mics and dropped Sussex jokes that hit so perfectly it felt like they had been written days before. But they weren't. That's what made it wild. This wasn't planned or cleaned up by PR teams. It was raw, straight from the gut, and the crowd couldn't get enough.
Earlier today, Suits actress Meghan Markle married some unemployed dude who still lives with his grandma.
At a New York comedy club, a comic joked that Meghan's doc felt like a fancy ad for sadness, and the crowd lost it. Then Colin Jost said the UK would trade with the US if we kept Harry and Meghan, and the laughs turned into that slow clap, the kind that means people aren't just laughing, they're agreeing, and after that the jokes just kept coming non-stop.
They wanted to know how brown the baby was gonna be.
Concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
That's not racist. Even black people want to know how brown the baby.
John Mulaney joked that maybe Harry didn't leave for love but just couldn't handle rules or being sober, and the crowd knew exactly who he meant without hearing Meghan's name. Soon comics everywhere were roasting everything from the curtsy to the drama about security, and even though not every joke was perfect, they just kept coming, and the silence from Meghan and Harry made it all hit harder, like they had no comeback at all.
Welcome to my garden. Well, it's not my garden, it's a set actually, but Welcome to my set.
Soon, silence became part of the joke every time they stayed quiet. More punchlines popped up. TikTok was full of skits showing Meghan in normal jobs, and people lip-synced over Netflix clips saying stuff like me asking for privacy while filming again. The jokes kept growing fast, and the real trouble for Team Sussex was that the next big hit wasn't from a comic, it was from a cartoon, and it was about to land hard.
So let me start with you, Sam. You've lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Where?
When South Park jumped in, it wasn't just another joke, it was like a final verdict. And when Trey Parker and Matt Stone took aim at Meghan and Harry, they didn't hold back. They blew up the whole Sussex image in less than 22 minutes. The episode called The Worldwide Privacy Tour didn't just make fun of them, it froze their contradictions into pop culture forever, and the reaction came fast, loud, and from all over the world.
Yes, that's right, friend. You see, my wife and I are totally like, you should write a book because your family like stupid, and then so are like journalists.
South Park showed royal doubles shouting, "We want privacy," while doing interviews and waving at crowds. The joke went viral fast. TikTok teens lip-synced it over mansion clips. It became a meme, then merch, and soon their real statements felt like part of the cartoon.
So you hate journalists? That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. Right. So you're a journalist.
Just as Harry's book grabbed attention with weird stories, South Park hit hard cartoon. Harry had a book called Wah Cartoon. Meghan was yelling about her truth while pushing products. It wasn't random. They planned it all, showing that asking for privacy while chasing fame means you lose control of your own story.
Look at this town. There's just something about it. Oh, darling, I think this might be the place. You really think so?
It wasn't the silly jokes or funny voices that stung the most. It was how the show made them look like two people chasing fame, not escaping pain. They weren't royals anymore. They were just characters in a loud, messy spotlight. And the wild part is, the cartoon didn't even touch the serious stuff. It just showed how their actions didn't match their words. And somehow, that simple truth hit harder than anything else. Even major news places couldn't ignore it.
We can have a fresh start here. Lead a normal life and have babies. Can we? Can we really move here and finally have our own privacy?
The Guardian said the cartoon was harsh, but weirdly accurate, and then the internet exploded. Kids were yelling worldwide, privacy tour at school. TikTok was packed with edits mixing that scene into every Meghan and Harry headline. Even Urban Dictionary joined in. Then late night shows jumped on it. Trevor Noah gave his take, and Stephen Colbert turned it into a gospel choir moment. But back in the UK, another comedian was getting ready to roast them even harder.
Why does Meghan Markle make her own pretzel bags? They don't know why.
That's interesting. She takes it from one bag and puts it in another bag.
It's another bag.
That confuses people.
Fern Brady didn't scream or roast. She just joked about eating a peanut butter sandwich while watching Meghan's Netflix clips. Then laughed when Meghan complained about her groceries being too basic and said, "Wow, didn't know peanut butter started class wars." The crowd lost it, and her bored tone said everything.
It's so funny, too, that you keep calling me Meghan. You know, it's Meghan now.
It started as a joke, but Fern Brady's peanut butter line turned the internet upside down. TikTok was full of skits. People whispered, "Is this royal enough?" And Tesco even joked about sending Meghan a deluxe jar. The tweet blew up bigger than any Sussex post, and right after that, Alyssa Limpress dropped a parody that spread like wildfire across socials before the Sussex team could even react.
People were saying, meh. It's not meh. It's pronounced me. The H is silent.
Alyssa Limpress showed up dressed like a royal mess, making a sad sandwich, yelling at nobody and smiling creepy while saying she saves scraps for the homeless. The clip exploded with 10 million views. Flower sprinkles went viral as the new symbol for fake kindness and royal drama. Big media laughed. Guardian called it brutal genius. Daily Show aired it straight now. The jokes weren't just funny, they were unstoppable.
Any type of flower arranging is just telling a story. What story do you want to tell? Maybe leave the country. Maybe disown your dad. Be creative with it.
While everyone laughed, something strange was happening. Meghan's perfume deal vanished without a word. Influencers were told to stop posting her promo stuff, and Tyler Perry, who once saved her, barely said anything when asked about her on the red carpet. Just a quick smile and a vague line about growth, then moved on.
My name is Meghan Sussex now. Call me Meghan Markle one more time, Mindy 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐤𝐚𝐢𝐸.
All the noise suddenly turned into silence. People who once hyped Meghan went quiet. Stylists deleted posts. Photographers vanished. Netflix started rethinking future projects. They called it a creative pivot, but behind the scenes, everyone was talking about risks and if the public had finally lost interest.
I want my home to feel welcoming. Do you feel welcome? Does my soundstage welcome you? Mindy and I are such great friends, like besties. Like, I love her. Like, she doesn't know my name, but we're best friends.
A top insider whispered they knew some backlash was coming, but they never thought the memes would beat the real show yet. Here we were. Parodies were going viral. Her content wasn't, and no amount of PR could fix it. Brands weren't scared of drama. They were scared of the chaos, because for luxury labels, unpredictability is the kiss of death. And while Hollywood was slowly stepping away, things across the pond were shifting from funny to straight up uncomfortable.
Everyone says they don't have time to make homemade meals, but if you just have 3 nannies, 2 butlers, a housekeeper, a driver, and a full-time personal assistant, you have all the time in the world. Stop making excuses and start moving snacks from one bag to another.
No one expected it to turn this dark. What started as playful teasing took a sharp twist when Jimmy Carr stepped on stage with that cold smile and calm voice. He walked the crowd through a chilling "What if each royal gone one by one" until it ended with Prince Andrew as king. The room froze. Laughter died, and suddenly the joke felt too real, too close, and way too dangerous.
Something terrible happened to William and Kate and the kids, right? The Queen and Charles are very old, they're going to go at some stage, and then you're left with King Andrew. No one wants that.
Harry used to be the royals' backup plan, but when he walked away, he didn't just leave a title. He pushed the whole system closer to collapse the moment the clip hit socials. It went wild. People started arguing, making memes. One showed Meghan with her arms crossed, saying, "You married out. Now we all suffer." Even The View ran it bleeped, but still hit hard.
If you are a watcher of the royal family and you like secrets, you might want to sit down because this is a doozy. Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H.
When jokes about the royals start showing up in serious headlines, you know it's bad after comics tossed out wild coronation talk. Big outlets like The Times and The Telegraph ran with it. Insiders got nervous, not because they believed Andrew would be king, but because everyone suddenly wouldn't stop talking like he might. And once that kind of joke catches fire, it's nearly impossible to shut it down.
What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
Behind the scenes, royal insiders hit the panic button. No official word came from Kensington or Buckingham, but whispers say emergency meetings kicked off fast, trying to figure out how to let Harry and Meghan step back into the spotlight without making things worse. The worry wasn't their next speech or appearance, it was the punchlines waiting to be made before they even opened their mouths.
I assumed it was for the obvious reason. M is the 13th letter of the alphabet and H is the 8th letter of the alphabet. 8 plus 13 is 21.
The royal family used to be all mystery and tradition, but now even a silly TikTok could mess up everything, and Harry and Meghan weren't even involved this time. But somehow it still hit them, and in California their team was panicking because the numbers were falling fast and they had to switch up the plan quick.
21 was Deion Sanders' number, and Deion Sanders' nickname was Neon Dion, obviously a reference to how they light up each other's lives. Wow.
Meghan's team hit crisis mode. Early morning calls kicked off a full emergency. All their tricks had failed. Sponsors were backing off, fans were fading, and non-stop memes were wrecking her image fast. Only one move left: redemption.
But no, Markle revealed that at the beginning of us dating, when everything was in code, I couldn't tell anyone who I was dating and who was keeping the secret, so I think we were just on a letter basis.
Nothing was working. The memes were winning, so Meghan's team needed a powerful reset. The name Judy Smith popped up. She's the real fixer behind Scandal's Olivia Pope, known for saving big names from total collapse. Just the rumor she might get involved had Hollywood talking, showing this wasn't just cleanup, it was a full brand rescue mission.
I get it. In the 80s, I dated a very famous woman whose identity I will never reveal, and only ever refer to her using our secret nickname, Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher.
Wow. Y'all look good, bruh. Yeah. Y'all look good.
Meghan's team had a classic plan for a comeback. First step, show her as a normal mom, not a duchess, in a calm sit-down interview with soft lighting and gentle questions, maybe even a tear to make it real. They called it Grace Under Pressure. Then came step 2, face the mockery, but stay calm. A surprise podcast was pitched where Meghan would talk about the jokes and backlash without sounding mad or defensive, just cool, collected, and graceful.
It's so funny you keep saying Meghan Markle, you know it's Sussex.
They needed to flip the story quick, so the plan was simple. Meghan would take the heat with grace. Maybe say something like, if laughing at me helps people feel better, then that's fine. Then she'd quietly step into real life, visiting shelters, helping kids, showing heart, not hype, no speeches, just soft moments caught on camera. And instead of fighting back, they'd let the mood shift, calm things down, make the jokes feel offbeat, and slowly take back the spotlight without saying a word.
And of course, our fucking bread isn't complete without our flour sprinkles. Flour sprinkles. You know you've made it when you've acquired a huge fan base of bullies. Hashtag Sussex Squad.
They hoped turning mockery into sympathy would save her image, but people weren't buying it. Gen Z was over it, millennials checked out, and even her biggest fans seemed tired. The more her team pushed the misunderstood story, the more it felt fake, but they kept going. Press releases got sent, plans were made, and she was set to speak soon. But before she could even step out, new polls dropped and the numbers were a disaster.
Hey, lowly cameraman, come over here and try some fried chicken. Try the fried chicken. Try the fried chicken. We need to make it look like I actually care about my camera crew. Come get some fried chicken. Act like you're having fun. Act like you're having fun.
The numbers didn't come slow. They hit like a wave. Meghan's approval had crashed all the way down to 29%, and no amount of editing or last-minute interviews could cover it up. This wasn't just a rough patch. This was the story falling apart completely. And what made it worse, it wasn't even hate bringing her down. It was people just not caring anymore. Indifference had taken over, and that's way harder to fight than any headline or internet troll.
Is this a wrinkle I see in my blouse? Who the f ironed this? I told you to iron this shirt 10 times. It looks like you only ironed it 9.
The same people who once praised her were now just done with her. Gen Z turned her into a meme, and millennials stopped caring. The numbers showed young support had collapsed, and when that happens, the internet doesn't go soft. It goes savage on TikTok. The mood was no longer debate. It was full-on mockery. Everyone kept saying the same thing. I like her, but I'm tired of her, and that feeling was spreading fast.
You know what? This knife reminds me of growing up in LA.
They tried to bring back the flower sprinkle meme, but this time it flopped. Fans added lines like mix in some self-awareness or the whole brand's gonna sink. Even Reddit turned one said she's too perfect to feel real. Another said these surprise appearances feel fake. Now people weren't buying it anymore. And in celebrity land, that's worse than drama. That's disbelief. Even a media expert said it straight when every appearance feels like a cry for sympathy. People start expecting a sales pitch, and that's when the public started tuning out.
Kosher salt brings me back to my days in LA. I'm an LA native. I am a Los Angelite.
Things got real when a TV host said Meghan's not even a public figure anymore. She's just a brand, and that brand is falling apart. And while all this drama played out, Harry stayed completely quiet. No photos, no posts, no support at all. And people noticed insiders started saying their public image plans were no longer in sync. And the latest polls showed it wasn't just Meghan losing fans. Now Harry was on shaky ground too.
This candle just reminds me so much of growing up in LA. This salt reminds me of growing up in LA. This carbon monoxide detector just really takes me back to my time in LA where I grew up.
Harry's clean image was crashing hard just by being tied to Meghan. The guy who used to dance with kids in Africa was now being clowned in TikToks about rich people. Drama comedy shows were roasting them again. Remix edits were using Meghan's own voice to drag her. The internet wasn't just joking, it was full-on mocking her, and right before a big public event, one she couldn't cancel or avoid. All that heat was piling up, and this time staying quiet might not work.
It's so funny you keep saying Meghan Markle, you know it's Sussex.
Everything was set. The invites went out, press alerts done, banners ready, and Meghan Markle was locked in as the main speaker at a fancy Beverly Hills charity gala focused on childhood reading. And this time there was no way out. This wasn't a safe podcast or edited Netflix clip. This was a real room full of real people with real reactions. Her team was on edge big time, sources said. Crisis experts were called multiple times to prep for every possible moment, from awkward silences to no applause. And one insider even claimed they worked with event staff to make sure the clapping came right on cue.
Okay, David, I'm gonna need you to slice into your flesh so I can jump in and be Nurse Meghan.
Everything had to be perfectly planned because the real danger now wasn't backlash. It was being ignored or laughed at. And some people close to her were actually hoping she'd slip up just enough to seem real. Maybe a tear, maybe a shaky voice. One insider said if she shows even a little emotion, folks might stop seeing her as a product and remember she's human. And this wasn't just any event. This was her first big public moment since the jokes and memes took over.
You know you've made it when you've acquired a huge fan base of bullies. Hashtag Sussex Squad. Sussex!
She walked out under the lights after all the jokes, all the headlines, all the silence. This was her big return. The crowd clapped, but not loud enough. And that small pause before she spoke said everything. Her speech was smooth, full of heart. But the vibe had changed. It felt like she was chasing something she already lost. She ended with a message of hope and unity. Some people stood, others didn't. The moment came and went. No drama, no viral clip. Just the quiet truth that maybe the magic was slipping and the world was already laughing before she even stepped off stage. If all that drama had you hooked, then don't go anywhere because Jacob Reports is just getting started. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and get ready, because the next twist is crazier than you think.